I have a love-hate relationship with glitter. I love how beautiful it looks on holiday cards, but I hate how it continues to rub off even after it's glued on and dried. And I love Stickles glitter glue, but when I'm in a hurry, I don't always have time to let it dry. So today on Stamp TV, I'm going to show you a fun way to add glitter to your card project that will be instantly dry, and once it's set, it won't rub off your card. I'm going to use a combination of embossing powder and glitter to create an evenly glittered image with no glue and no drying time. Let me show you the tools and products you need to do this technique. First, you're going to need a stamp, and I'm using this gorgeous tree stamp from Theresa Momber's Joyful Holiday stamp set. Then I'm going to use some of the Stampendous Detail White embossing powder. I'm also going to use some of the fine glitter. This is the Stickles Dry Fine Glitter. Stickles also makes a glitter glue, but this one has no glue. It's just fine glitter. I'm going to use a VersaMark pad, and I'm going to use an anti-static pad to make sure that I remove all the static and any oils and debris from the surface of the card so that my embossing powder and my glitter only sticks where I want it. And I'm going to use a heat tool. Now I am using the Marvy embossing heat tool, but any heat tool that you have is fine. Just don't use a hairdryer for this technique because you'll just blow the embossing powder and glitter right off your card and it won't heat set it at all. It's not hot enough. One more little tool you're going to need is a pack of these dusters. Now here I have the Pledge dust cloths. These are the dry dust cloths. They also make the brand Swiffer. That is a dust cloth too. Either one of those will work fine, and it's a great way to clean up any embossing powder or glitter that you don't need anymore that's stuck to the surface of the card. So I'm going to start with a piece of red hot cardstock, and I'm going to use my little Embossing Magic anti-static pad here to remove static from the surface of the card. Now this works really well for the embossing powder. Not all that great though for the glitter, so you'll see what I have to do at the end with the glitter. I'm going to take a little bit of this VersaMark ink and ink up this stamp with VersaMark. And then I'm going to stamp that right into the center here of my card. And because this is a bigger stamp, I just want to make sure that all the areas are pressed down well so I don't have any blank spots in the center. There we go. Now I'm going to start with the embossing powder, and I'm going to sprinkle this embossing powder all over the surface of this card. And you can see, now this is white, so it's not clear embossing powder. If I did clear, you would see it as white, but then when I embossed it, it would turn just shiny red because the white would go away. This will actually come up to a nice bright white. So let me get rid of this excess embossing powder here. And let me get my heat tool. Now, when you're embossing, you want to make sure that you don't over-emboss so that you don't burn the embossing powder. Just bring it up to a nice shine, and once it's shiny, then you can move on to the next area. So I can see it turning. White is really fun to work with because it really gets white, and you can see it really kind of shine up very quickly. The clear is a little bit harder to see. And there we go. Okay, so now I have my tree all embossed, and it's nice and shiny and white, but it's not sparkly. So I'm going to take some of this Stickles Fine Glitter, and I'm going to sprinkle it all over the surface of that tree. Now, what's nice about this is it's going to adhere to the tree. It's actually going to adhere to almost everything. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get it off of the card itself. But because it's not embossing powder, you don't have to worry about places on the card where it's stuck to the card. You just have to worry about making sure that you have enough glitter on there, because it's not going to stay stuck to the card at all. All right, so my next step now is to re-emboss that. And what's going to happen is the embossing powder is going to melt again, and that glitter is going to sink into it. And then as soon as it cools, the glitter will dry right into it, but it will not rub off. So, of course, you can't really see where you're heating up the embossing powder, so you just got to give it a little bit. Make sure that you're not burning it. Give it a little bit of heat, and you're just remelting it right in place. Okay. And now you want to give that a minute to dry. So I'm going to put this glitter glue back into, rather this glitter back into the jar, and close that up and get it out of the way. Now, glitter's everywhere, and glitter can drive you a little bit nuts when it's everywhere, but these little dust cloths do great work of getting rid of all the glitter all over your work area. So now I'm glitter free, and now that my card is dry, I can take this same dust cloth and I can rub it all over the surface of the card, and it will pick up any of the glitter that's loose on the card and get rid of it, but the glitter that is embedded now into the embossing powder will be left behind. So we're going to put our no glare, get rid of our no glare lights in a couple seconds, and I'm going to show you that, but that is just so pretty. Let me show you my finished card project that I made with this panel. Here, I've taken the panel and I've mounted it onto some of our white cardstock, and then I did another combination of red and white behind it and used some of the baker's twine and just popped the whole thing onto a red hot card base. And I embossed that with an embossing folder, a polka dot embossing folder. And so there is my finished card project. Look how pretty this is now when we get rid of our anti-glare lights. Try doing this same technique using gold embossing powder and gold glitter, or silver embossing powder with silver glitter. Or try clear embossing powder on white and mix different color glitters throughout the image for a rainbow of even shimmer.